Hi, yogis. This is a yin class all about embracing your space with a focus on the kidney and liver meridian lines. All you need is a comfortable place to practice, some of your favorite props, and an open mind. When you're ready, we'll get started. We're going to start out, there's a couple of different options. So the first one, so I have, all these great props. So whatever you have, maybe a couple pillows, and just like give yourself one elevation. So you're going to start out with soles of the feet together. So option one is just to take it, maybe elevate the seat and take a butterfly fold over. The other option, which is a little bit yummier, is to kind of unfold your blanket, wrap on the top of the feet, and then you're going to tuck underneath the backs of the thighs. Bring the feet in just as close as is comfortable. So you find that cushion under the ankles, you got the cushions underneath the hips. Adjust your pillows so they catch you when you land, and then slowly just release the back body back onto your props. Adjust the head, or if you have a ponytail, you can take it out here, arms alongside the body, and just kind of reach until you just feel that total release of the arms, release of the legs, and just arriving in a really comfortable positioning so you feel supported in every little nuance of your body. And go ahead and close the eyes if they're not already. Feel a softening between the eyebrows, the jaw. And maybe even here is a good opportunity just to let the mouth part, the teeth part. Breath in through the nose, breath out the mouth. And feel just a softening coming over the body, softening in the facial tissue, softening in the throat, through the chest, the ribs, all the way to the lowest part of the belly. Feel that same softening encircling the hips, right hip, left hip. Think about where the bones connect into the torso. And softening through the thighs, in and around the knees, the calves, the ankles, outer edges of the feet, soles of the feet, toes. And then if you feel kind of that need to fidget or move, just wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. And then just let everything soften. And feel a slight detachment from the body. And give yourself a few moments just to simply arrive. And this class is a focus inward. So any yin class is technically a really deep focus inward, but this one specifically, we're focusing the liver and the kidney meridian lines. And with those, we'll track those lines through the inseams of the legs, the side body, either side of the spine, the front of the torso. And then, of course, the inner workings. And all of those lines intersect in the space behind your belly button called the hara. So if you just send the mind's eye to your belly button and imagine you're just doing a deep dive into the belly button, into the inner workings of your belly, of your midsection, and then you can kind of just envision all of those intersecting chi lines. And then every in-breath is an opportunity to expand in and around those lines. Feel an inflation of the lower abdomen, expansion through the ribs to the chest, And then the exhalation is an opportunity to release and surrender anything that isn't serving. Notice if the mind drifts. Just encourage it back in. So you just want to use the mind's eye to kind of discover inwards of the body where these sensations lie. If you feel any tenderness or discomfort in the lower back, you can always press at the outer edges of the feet, lift the hips slightly, and just draw the tailbone forward. Just release that lower back down into the floor or to your pillow. If you want to explore maybe going deeper in this opener, you can bring the heels closer towards the seat, or maybe exploring what it feels like to reach the heels farther away. It just opens different channels, different sensations in the inner groin, inner thighs. We're about 3/4 of the way there, so we'll go about 10 more breaths just here. You're welcome to keep the arms alongside the body, or if you want to reach them out for cactus arms, you take a bit into the heart space, or maybe the arms reach back and you can let the hands rest or grab for opposite elbows. And you just begin to kind of draw into the side bodies, draw into the central chest cavity. And the heart space is another energy line that we can tap into here. And softening the muscles to make sure nothing's engaged. And just kind of hold on and then let everything sink towards the back body. Last few breaths. And then notice what the full exhalation feels like if you really draw the belly button back into that hara space and maybe press it back towards the anterior of the spine. Full inhale as you inflate. If you're holding the arms, reach the arms back alongside the body. You're going to plant the palms down, bend, bring the knees up towards the ceiling, soles of the feet down, and then just heel toe the feet wide on your mat, toes in together. Once again, you can lift the seat and reach the tailbone down, so you just replant that lower back. And then knees will windshield wiper to the right and then to the left. And just wringing out the outer hips a little bit from side to side, rinsing as you move. Good. And then slowly, knees will stay towards the left side. Right arm will reach over towards the left. Root yourself down on that left side, left ear on that left inner arm. And just take a moment here, just on that left side body. So the left side body symbolizing the yin side of your practice, the feminine side, the cooler side. And then slowly press your way up. Nice and easy. Yeah. And then we'll take it into the second pose. So you can leave your pillows here. So an option for this, so we're going to get into the lower lumbar spine for this positioning, just tapping into the kidneys. So the option is to take Sphinx. I'm going to do it off my mat. So you can take Sphinx pose like such, or if you feel comfortable in the knees, you're going to bring the knees together, the feet to the outside. Here's where a blanket or maybe a block underneath might be really comfortable here. And then option is to make sure you get the bend in that lumbar spine, so you start to activate into the ligaments and the tissue around the lumbar. And then maybe you're here, and that feels plenty. You're just getting that heart opener at the same time you're tapping into those kidney lines. Or If it's comfortable enough on the knees, you can bring the seat in between. Sits bones are going to press down, and then you're going to slowly walk the hands back. Forearms are going to come down, and then try not to elevate unless it just gets really tender in that lower back. If it does, I would just suggest staying upright and then taking that arch. If it's comfortable enough to come down, you can come all the way back. The head is rooted, pressing into the shin bones as you root down, tops of the feet, and then you keep that flex in that lower back. Arms alongside the body here. Close the eyes and then just do a check-in. So everybody's body is a little bit different. So just noticing what feels kind of good, stretching and stressing on the joints, and what feels too involved. And we don't want to go into too involved because you're not trying to push things to happen. You don't want to engage the muscles, but you just want to find that kind of flex and pull apart that's conducive to your body. And any degree works. If you find you're kind of back in that supine position of Virasana, of hero pose, and it's okay at first, but maybe it begins to be too much, be willing to back off or maybe go into a Sphinx pose. This is a 3-4 minute holds here. So just make sure you're somewhere that is working for your body. Any little needle pricking sensations is not good. So be willing to back out of that. You can press the shin bones into the floor. You feel that stretch through the quads, through the front of the legs, through the front of the chest. And then take the mind's eye back to the space behind the belly button. So back into the hara. And then watch the breath rise in the chest, expand around the hara as you inhale. And then that slow exhalation. When you get to the bottom of the exhalation, you feel that lifting of the diaphragm. So you're really tapping deep, deep, deep into the inner workings of your belly. And moving into the intestines and the colon. And massage by way of the breath. Arms can stay alongside the body, or if you'd like to explore like you did a moment ago and take either cactus arms or reach back and maybe find the opposite forearm on top here. And let the weight of the forearms draw you down. And you're just feeling that cutting off of circulation. So you're inhibiting the flow of the blood so you can let that blood go wherever you need it. So you send your mind's eye to wherever you need it in the body. So namely here, it's going to go to the lumbar spine, to the lower back, or the space in the belly. And give yourself about 10 more breaths here. And get curious about the sensations that come up. And we notice sensations, not a painful sort of sensation. That's a sensation you want to come out of, but something that is a sensation that's neither good nor bad. It just draws you into your body. And so it's that gentle stressing of sorts in and around the joints. And that's where our connective tissue and the ligaments and that webbing of the body called our fascia is able to get more pliable in those moments. Last 3 breaths. And some of you could probably stay here for 20 minutes. Others, this has been way too long. No way is the right way. It's just a way. And go ahead and reach the arms around. If you have it, you're going to come out of this posture just as gentle as you got into it. So step by step, you can press the forearms down. Sometimes I like to hold on to the feet for support. And then slowly you're going to bring yourself upright. Press into the floor, nice and gentle. Come into a tabletop. You can set your props to the side. I got like the biggest, cushioniest pillows, so I'll set those there. So once you're in tabletop and the feet are uncurled, maybe a little paddle out here feels good, or you can lift and circle the ankles. And you feel that circulation flush back in. So it's that compression that prohibits the circulation, that movement of blood, so that when you can release it, maybe you just take a little plank and a down dog just to reset. Nothing too active or heat driven, just a way to kind of paddle it out, recirculate the energy into the legs, into the body. Good. And then lower the knees down, drop the belly, look up, and then exhale, round out. So tailbone pulls down, and you feel that stretch and that spaciousness through every vertebrae of the spine. Give a little sway of the hips from side to side. And shake out the head and the neck. Good. And then we'll step that left foot back, curl the toe under. Float the right knee, take the right knee behind the right wrist, and we'll take it into pigeon from here. So roll to the right side, right shin bone can come forward. If this is a bit much, you can always bend that back knee. And then when you fold, it's just a version called deer pose instead of pigeon. And you get the same benefits in that right hip. So filling out whatever works here. You can also bring a blanket underneath that right seat. You can bring the pillow long on your mat, and then maybe the forearms come down here or palm in palm, and you turn the head to the side and you arrive just a nice pigeon pose. Sometimes I'll even build the blocks up so you can take a block underneath the forehead and just feel as though you can let go of all of the energy through the neck and the lifting constantly of the head. Just let the head release down. Give a moment. Curl the back toe under, lift that left leg, just give a pulling back or maybe a shifting forward. So you find where it's giving the most pull in that right hip. And then once you find your edge, uncurl the toe, release down, and soften. Relax the head and the neck and the shoulders here. Feel that kind of stirring around the outer right hip. So that's your gallbladder line. So that one's directly connected to your liver line. So liver runs through the big toe, through the inseam of the right leg. And you might even feel a little bit of that liver line, that stretch here. Might be more apparent for your body in that right inner groin. And then the counterpart, the lower to the earth portion of that chi line, is your gallbladder line, which is the side body. And just breathe deep into it. So same idea of kind of restricting the circulation. So think of like a water hose. When you fold it, when you bend it in half, you're kind of stopping the flow of that water. And then when you open it up, how strong and quick it flows through the hose once again. So that's the idea of just, some of these energy lines of our body just over time and our environment and food and all of those good things, what we're consuming, what we're taking in, might start to weaken certain lines of the body, slow it down. So we're just kind of re-energizing from the inside of the body out. We're embracing the space of our inner body, if you will. You're welcome to linger here if you want to go a little bit farther into it. So you still want to keep the weight into the hips. So I would keep a slight elevation to the torso always, but you can do fist on fist or even palm on palm. I wouldn't go all the way down to the floor with the cheek. Another option, if it works for you, is to bring the block in between your breastbone. So you can root it down, just kind of the lower floating ribs, right in between at the center of the chest. And then you can just let the upper body kind of drape out and over. And then it's just a really nice release for the back of the neck and the head. We have just about 10 more breaths here. You start to feel your right foot getting cold. That's a good sign. Completely compressing. And feel a softness to the face, like curling up of the sides of the lips, just a smiling inwards towards yourself. Any forwarding movement, forward folds, is just an opportunity just to turn inwards. Send yourself some love, some kind thoughts, good energy. Again, slowly pressing your way up. You can set your prop to the side. Press the palms of the hands down. Curl the back toe under. And then we're just going to step the right foot back to meet the left. You can come back into your tabletop. Maybe press the hips back. And then forward. Exhale as you press back. And then forward. And one more time. And forward. Good. Right toe is going to curl under. It might feel really good just to linger there for a moment. Left knee's going to lift. Left knee goes behind that left wrist. Reach the right leg back. Take a shift to the side. So a couple options. You can take that full Ekapada Kapatanasana or pigeon pose, or you can bend that back knee and take a deer version. It's a little gentler onto the knees and the hips. You can also bring a blanket underneath that left hip or a block. And just make sure you're feeling rooted into the earth so you can really get some stretch out of it. And then exhale, begin to tilt the torso forward. You can use a pillow, a block. I think I'll go the block route on this one. Or a blanket, whatever's comfortable. And kind of adjust and fill into it on your way down. And then just noticing the sides, and we always want to aim to balance out the sides. So really feeling kind of the same surrender in the left side as your right side. Curl the back toe under, feel that adjustment. Any resistance, lower down. Shake out the head and the neck. And then maybe even just propping the head up. Feel long through the spine. So crown of the head moving away from the tailbone. You find spaciousness to the body here. A softening of the shoulder blades down the back and maybe wide on the back. The outer edge of that left foot. And then just notice energetically what you feel sensation-wise. So if you feel it in the inseam of the left leg, you're directly connecting to the liver and the kidney lines. If you feel it into the outer leg or that outer hip, it's the gallbladder line. And just feel softening through the rest of the body. So you notice where the sensations are and you use that to just check in. And then everything else relaxes so the focus can be where you need it to be here. And let the frontal body be really soft here. About another 10, 15 breaths. And feel that connection to your physical body. So, connection by way of those sensations, that conversation to connect. Same way you connect with the world or with yourself, just conversation, right? So, think of the sensations in the body as just your body's way to conversate with your mind, that reconnection of the two parts that often feels very separated or very at odds with each other. So we're just having really positive conversations, just embracing your own physical space, embracing your own mental space, and just allowing an opportunity just to get curious, comfortable space inwards and outwards. And give yourself another 5 breaths here. If you did the block underneath the chest or you adjusted lower, I said 5 breaths, but we'll go another 5, 6, 7. So just balancing it out with the other side. And let gravity do the work here. So you just surrender your weight into gravity, into the gravity pool. Good. And then slowly begin to come up, going against that gravitational pull. Let the palms press down, curl the back toe under, just slowly come out of it. Nice plank just to kind of paddle it out. You can also keep the knees down, sway the hips a little from side to side, or you can take the hips back and forward again, whatever works for your body. And you just want to feel the circulation flushing back in. Good. So right foot's going to step forward, coming into a low lunge. You can adjust the stance by curling the back toe under, shifting the knee back. You can bring blocks underneath the fingertips here, or just let the hips sink and the fingertips stay rooted to the floor. So dragon pose, just to connect you into that left groin, left hip. Feel as though the tailbone is reaching towards that back knee. And you can stay framing that front foot, or you can begin to walk the hands up the thigh. And then it just brings a little bit more weight into the picture. So you feel a bit more sensation into that left quad, left hip flexor. So breathing here, the stacking of the shoulders, a relaxing of the shoulders down. If you need any cushion underneath that left knee, you can fold your mat over halfway, add a cushion or a blanket. And then you just want to feel as though all 5 toes of that back foot, so all 5 toenails are pressing into the earth. So that's your connection. Top of the left foot, top of the left shin, and it's not as heavy on the knee. So you're finding that weight distribution pretty balanced in that back leg. And then the sole of the right foot. Inhale lengthens you. So it's like a bubble floating at the surface of the water. And then your exhale can take the shoulders wider, find a softening into the hips. So we're about halfway there. So if you need to adjust, you can bring the palms of the hands down. But notice if you need to adjust because the brain is just like too much sensation, must get out. Or if you can sit with that discomfort, if it does feel slightly uncomfortable, So just notice what the sensation is. So like I said at the beginning, if it's like a needle pricking, that's no good. But if it's sensation that is just kind of that pulling of the connective tissue, that like tugging in and around the joint, um, that's what you want to kind of breathe into. Notice what those sensations are. Good. Last 4 or 5 breaths here. This is my favorite and least favorite all at the same time. It's very confronting. So if you feel very confronted or agitated, that's okay. It's just all part of what stirs up as we lean in. Good. Breath in through the nose. Open the mouth. Good. Slowly tip the torso forward. Let the fingertips come down and then shift the hips back. Ooh. Yep. Walk the hands back slightly. Inhale, lengthens you. Exhale, drapes you out and over. So we went through a very confrontational left psoas and left hip flexor stretch, and then now we'll take it into a right quad stretch. Right hamstring stretch and right calf stretch. So the liver line is your big toe through the inseam of the foot, all the way through the inseam of the leg, and then it enters into the groin. Your kidney line starts at your pinky toe, goes to the bottom of the foot through the inner arch, and then through the inseam of the leg. So it runs parallel to that liver line. So a lot of the poses for both of those lines will kind of overlap depending on your class. But the kidney line connects in at the tailbone. So it's through the ligaments in and around the tailbone. And then it continues up. On either side of the spine is your urinary bladder line. So the kidneys to the urinary bladder. And all that to say, if you want to reach forward and you can reach pretty comfortably without kind of collapsing the pose, you can press the peace fingers right underneath your big toe mound. So that's your right kidney line specifically. And you can just give a nice little massage. And if it feels tender, drink lots of water after this. Funnily enough, I can tell a difference. Like if I have wine and then the next day I like press this, it's very tender. So it's just your kidneys are cleansing the body, and that's their job. So if it feels a little tender, that's okay. We just kind of like flush it out. Good. And then we'll do about 10 more breaths here. So inhale, maybe re-lengthen. Exhale as you soften, palms can press down. Right hip can draw back and feel like you're squeezing the inseams of the legs together, even though they're in varying degrees, and outer hips can press together. Right heel presses down. So you're not really tightening any muscles. You're just supporting by way of the limbs and supporting by way of the bones of the leg. Good. Inhale as we begin to bring forward, and then we'll slide that right foot back to meet the left. Both knees down. And curl both toes, maybe lift up, a little shake out. Lift the knees, you can paddle it down if you like, sway the hips from side to side. Child's pose is always an option just to kind of reset and release. And then once you're ready, we'll take that left foot forward. Set up your space, so maybe it's a longer stride. If you need to, you can curl the side of the mat, cushion the knee. Hips will press down, so the pelvic floor will sink to the floor, the actual floor, and then you'll find that release in the lower back. Any tenderness here would stay just a little bit less sinking, a little bit more kind of upright. So set it up here. Maybe a couple rounds of breath, deciding if you're going to linger here. If you moved on the other side, definitely try to match your two sides. And then you'll begin to elevate the torso, the shoulders are stacked over the hips. And then this is where you might check in to see if you need an extra cushion underneath that right knee. And if it's a bit much in the lower back, so not even the hip flexor, the right quad, and the psoas, so that psoas muscle comes across the front, wraps and connects into the ligaments of the lower back. But the ligaments of the lower back is where you might feel tender, and if you do, you can press into the left foot. Just don't sink down so much. It's fine with my body, so I tend to kind of sink into it a little bit here. And you can keep the palms pressing. Feel that pressing of the left knee forward. Sole of that left foot imprinting into your mat. Imagine you have your favorite color paint on the bottom of your foot and you're pressing the foot into the mat. You just get the full imprint, little textures of those designs on the bottom of your feet. And then imagine that same paint on the top of the right foot, all 5 toenails pressing into the surface of your mat, on top of the foot, the top of the shin, and then a little softening in and around the knee. And you feel that subtle kind of pulling of the ligaments and the tendons and that connective tissue, that fascia, in and around where that right leg meets the torso. And then see if you can kind of get lighter in the body instead of heavier. So if our mind is just like consumed by sensation, the tendency is to get heavier. But our thought as we lean into these sensations is how can you sit with sensations in a way that is neither good nor bad? It just is. And it just brings you into this moment. And then the best tool for that is just the breath. So same thing, sending the breath down behind the belly button into the hara. Or sending the breath to that right hip flexor. And it's like you're moving and weaving like water in and around that right hip. Last 3, 4, 5 breaths here. Good. Slowly, without just completely jumping out of it, bring the hands to your mat as though it was really enjoyable. And then slowly shift the hips back. Hands can come underneath blocks, or you can press the fingertips. And then we'll set up for that hamstring stretch in the left side, and then the tap into that left kidney line. So if you need cushion underneath the knee here, draw that left hip back so it's in line with the right hip. Outer hips press in together. Inhale, lengthens you long. Exhale will fold you down. And just feel the belly sinking towards that left thigh. Soft into the knee might be a really good idea for you here. And then see if you can relax the shoulders. So imagine it's not weight bearing the hands. They're just like little stilts, just supporting the body and stabilizing. So like training wheels of sorts. And then maybe close the eyes and just feel what you feel. Where are those sensations? Where is the breath moving, or where does the breath feel stuck? You can let the head hang and shake out the head and the neck. And then find the balance of how you're supporting your body. So not all the weight is in one point of contact, but it's distributed pretty evenly through every fingertip, every palm of the hand, every toenail, every little spot that's connected into your mat. And then if you want, you can also reach up and just massage behind that big toe mound with the peace fingers. It's like you're stirring and tapping into that chi line Waking up your left kidney, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for doing your job every day without me asking. And so I studied with Sarah Powers, who's just a phenomenal Yin Yoga teacher. Um, and it's just that connection with your body. She really is like, smile at yourself, say hi, thank you for, doing all that you do, visualizing these organs. So we think of our outer body, our skin is an organ for sure, but we don't really think of it like a functioning organ. We think of it as just the coating to, what we have. It's like going in with like a little toothbrush and polishing up the liver. It's the same thing as just massaging and tapping into that point. And then slowly set the foot down, let the palms press. Left foot goes back to meet the right foot. Go wide in the knees, toes together. Sink the hips back into the heels. You can come upright and go really wide as is comfortable for your body. If you need blankets underneath the knees, drop some blankets underneath, and then we'll walk it forward. You can come on forearms here, or you can do fist on fist. If the knees are sensitive, you can drop the blanket under the knees, or you can also just kind of drape it behind the body so the towel is behind the knees. It gives a little less compression. And then you want to focus like the inseams of the legs. So it's tapping into the inner groin and just awakening your liver line. So the liver is that big old organ underneath your right rib cage, behind your right rib cage internally, like pink, big. It's kind of referred to as the general of our body, just making sure everything stays in balance and functions as it needs to function, and pumps and clears and just keeps us feeling good from the inside out. So take a moment here just to embrace that vital organ. Send your mind's eye, your energy to that space. Imagine you're going in with that toothbrush or that little scrubber, and you're just shining it up, making it extra pink and bright. And it's that breath moving around, like you're rinsing, replenishing. And physically, we allow ourselves to take up that space, to expand out, and using our mind to expand internally. Let a heaviness sink into that gravitational pull, sink into the mat, into the floor, softening the muscles and softening the bones. And let it feel cool. So the whole idea of Yin Yoga, it's your cooling practice, your nurturing practice, whereas Yang or Vinyasa is that heated flow that create a fire from the inside. So the fire is good, but also so is the cooling. It's the balance, the yin and the yang, the sun and the moon, the right and the left, the Ida and the Bengali. And you're just finding the balance between the two. The inner and the outer. Take a breath in. Breath out the nose or out of the mouth. Next inhale as you press down, begin to elevate. You can bring the knees in. So we're going to sweep the feet around. And we'll go wide on our mats. You can have your props handy. So you just want to adjust, let the heels reach out, press at the seat, draw the seat forward. If you find you're kind of rounding forward, elevate the seat. So it might be really nice to sit on a blanket or a block or a pillow. And you want to feel that connection to the inseams of the legs. So just adjust until you find your edge. Sits bones are pressing down, heels press down. Elevate tall through the seat, through the spine, through the crown of the head, and then exhale, begin to take it forward. Palms can press down once you get there, and you just stabilize the body. And then if that feels like that's it, this is your range of motion, it feels really good, you're getting into the inseams of the legs, you feel that connection to the inner groin, go ahead and relax the feet. You can also, if it's comfortable, on your forearms, or sometimes I like to build up the Lego blocks a little bit and then just let the forehead find the space between the third eye and your props for support. So wherever is your range of motion, go ahead and find that. And then you could explore. So if you flex the feet and reach the heels, you're activating into the muscles. And we use that to get into the pose. So once you're in it, you can flex just to feel the difference and then release. So then muscle activation is no more. And you're now into where the bones are connecting together. You're into the joints. You're into like the most inner workings of your body. If you're rounding in the back body, that's okay. You'll feel more sensation there, but I would try to keep a straight of a spine as you can so the belly sinks down and you really get that connection through the inseams of the legs. So that's just how the body joins together. And then let the head and the neck just relax. So whether it's propped up or just kind of hanging out, just let it relax here. And then keep relaxing the toes, relax the feet, relax the calves, the thighs, backs of the thighs, fronts of the thighs. And then see if you can soften the gaze or close the eyes and take the internal gaze to where the legs meet the torso. So where they're connecting into your body. And then notice that degree around where the joint is, where that femur bone connects into the hip socket. And notice those fine sensations that you're feeling. And it's not about forcing anything to happen, it's just an observation of what naturally occurs as you linger and breathe. We recondition the fascia of our body when we linger into maybe a position that you're not normally lingering into from day to day. And I always love the idea of the fascia, like that spidey suit that's just below the skin, above the muscle, and it goes from the top of your head down to your toes, and it moves as you move. And it coils. So your right shoulder is connected to your left hip to your right knee, and then vice versa on the other side of the body. So it just coils from top to bottom, and it's all like snuggly holding you in together. I don't know if snuggly is a word, but like it's holding you in together. It's containing all of those pieces to help stabilize and strengthen and secure you. 5 more breaths here. Maybe you explore a little more depth. That could be just releasing the torso even more towards the floor, or taking one of the blocks away and the head goes closer to the earth. Or maybe a bend to the elbows if the palms are pressed down, the arms are more straight. Notice where the breath is restricted, like you're building a bridge from one side to the other, wherever that restriction is. You move through it. Inhale, begin to draw yourself upright. Okay. Sits bones are going to stay down, legs are going to stay wide. You can flex the feet for a moment just to kind of stabilize your connection to the earth. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the right arm over the right leg. So I'll actually mirror you guys on this. So right arm down the right leg, left arm's going to reach up and over. Once you're kind of in that position, you can also put a block underneath the arm if that's good, or take to the inside, or you can stay on that right leg. So once you're arrived kind of in the side body stretch, relax the feet. Left arm's going to extend up and over. You can bend the elbow, hold just around the base of the skull, send the gaze forward. Or you can bend that bottom arm, relax the head, and then just let the arm kind of drape and linger here. This is a shorter hold. This is only about a 2-minute hold. And you feel that side body, so that's your gallbladder line connected into your liver line, and you just get that really nice stretch, that compression in your right side body, so your ascending colon's also getting a nice massage here every time you breathe in and out. Feel the rotation and opening to the chest. So it's still very passive, but a little bit more activated. And finding those tiny little muscle fibers in the left side body, those intercostal muscles. It's getting a nice awakening every time you inhale. Make sure you get to the full exhalation. Don't hold on to any breath. When they say we only use about 20% of our lung capacity, I find that so fascinating, but it's really true. So once you focus, what's 100% lung capacity look like for you? Last 5-6 breaths for you to explore that range of your full inhalation and your full exhalation. Slowly. It's going to bring that, rotate the chest so you're aligned out and over that leg. Big inhale. Exhale is going to bring you close. So option to stay here, or you can bring a slight twisting action to it. So right hand will go to the outside of that leg, left hand will rotate. And then you can hold for the foot if you like, reach around. Sometimes I'll double hold. And then you just feel that extension out and over. If that's too much, definitely just staying upright is a good option as well. You can use a prop underneath the forehead if you want. If you want to lay it on top of the shin bone, either high side, medium side, low side. And just relaxing the head and the neck. I find that's some of the most comfortable prop moves that you can do. Is just releasing the head and the neck. Any conscious effort there. This is the urinary bladder line, so the hamstring and the calf. Relax the eyelids, relax the jaw, relax the toes. I constantly have to remind myself to relax the toes, relax the feet. Give yourself 3 more breaths here. And get to the bottom of the breath that you're on. New in-breath is just going to elevate the torso. Both sits bones press down, root down. You can press at the seat and just give a little lift and then re-lower down. Find your range of motion. And then left arm's going to go over the left leg. Right arm's going to reach up and over. You can bend at the elbow. Hold the base of the skull. So you just get a little bit of a lift as you draw the elbow back from that side body stretch. Or if you want to bend that bottom hand, if you're close enough, you can also use a couple blocks. And then just feel as though the chest is rotating towards the ceiling. And then you can maybe take that right arm up and over once again, just that side body stretch. So not too long here, just about 20 or so breaths. And then that's your descending colon. So you're massaging those depths, just kind of cleaning and scrubbing that pipe clean by way of your breath. Close the eyes, focus your mind's eye in there. You're just breaking up all those little particles. And just compressing in. Your exhale, feel the squeeze of the belly as you exhale. This stretch. Then your in-breath, just expanding the right side body. Breathing into those intercostal muscles. So you feel supported, so you can kind of let go of some musculature hold here. See if you can soften the effort. Just relaxing the toes and the fingers. And slowly, right hand's going to come down and frame. Frame through that left leg, and then right hand can cross over. You can take a version of a twist here, or simply drape the body out and over your left leg. Block can go on your shin or your thigh, whatever is comfortable, or you can build it up any which way that makes sense for you. You can also reach and hold the outer left foot. And then see if you can soften the body, relax the head and the neck. Feel anchored in your left sits bone, the heel. And check out the head and the neck. Let go of any effort. Pillows underneath the forehead here might be really nice also. And you find the gallbladder line through the back of the leg. And those sensations that trickle in from the heel to that sits bone. And keep softening the muscles. And linger. Keep framing the torso over the leg. Notice where the mind goes when you enter into complete stillness. Is it on your breath? Is it on the day, your plans, life, the world? It's like we don't know what's coming up in the future, and the past has already happened. So really it's this moment. Like, what are you in this moment? Inhale, begin to draw yourself up. You're gonna grab behind the knees, lean back, ooh, and take the legs forward. And maybe even a bend to the knees will be good here. And just windshield wiper from side to side. Those outer hips. Okay. And legs will extend forward. You can grab for a pillow or two pillows, your blankets, get all the goods. And then we're going to go long on the legs. So you might want to take a blanket underneath the knees if the hamstrings are really tight. Trying to figure out if my hamstrings are really tight. No, they feel okay. And heels are going to reach long. Heels are going to press down. Draw the toes here first, just so you get that length. And then maybe if you have the cushion underneath the knees, that'll give you the support, or you can just simply bend the knees. So both sit bones press down, both heels press down. Inhale as you grow long. Exhale, let the belly reach towards the tops of the thighs first. You get extension, and then you can hold for the outer heels or outer edges of the feet, or let the palms press. And then keep the length through the torso. Keep the belly pressing down. And then with that connection, maybe you straighten the legs. Relax the feet once you get into position. And then this is where you might want to anchor a pillow underneath the forehead, or since the legs are slightly parted, you can go some Lego blocks or building blocks up. And this is a really great opportunity to just send yourself a nice smile, embracing yourself with love and compassion. Embrace your physical body, that space that you move through this existence with, that vessel. And just with gratitude for all of those organs, for the bones and the ligaments and the tissue, the connective tissue, just embracing all the parts of you that make up the full you. And loving all those cells. And feel the expansion of your heart. So as you embrace your space, as you embrace your physicality, as you embrace your mental and your mind and your soul and all of that, you're able to expand out. So you feel by embracing, you're able to expand. And so with the forward folds, you feel that expansion. You feel restricted, but you'll feel an expansion just from the heart space, from the hara space, that light that is bright and just needs to get out and shine out and expand out. Last 3 breaths, really make them count. Smile with every in-breath. Surrender and embrace your space with every out-breath. Inhale draws you up. And set your props. So, final resting pose. So your Shavasana can go a couple different ways. So you can do cross-legged, upright, just what if it's comfortable for you here, just to kind of be here, and maybe you want to kind of feel that energy expanding out. You can also expand it out by being on your back and giving yourself a nice little cushion Shavasana. You can finish as we started. So you can bring the blanket to the tops of the feet, adjust the feet however is comfortable, blanket underneath the wings of the legs. The legs can open, and then you extend back. You can also just use your blanket on top of the body as a little bit of a warmth and a weight. And you can take up all that good space. Toes will draw out. Body will extend down, arms alongside the body, palms up. Just feel that connection to the earth. If the lower back is lifted and you have that little curve, maybe you press one foot down, lift the hips, lower the lower back down. Arms alongside the body. Wiggle the toes and wiggle the fingers so you get all that little movement in little bits out. And then once you're ready, you close the eyes, relax the jaw. Take a breath in through the nose. Feel that breath like the river just flowing all the way through to the toes. And then exhale, letting it all go. Let everything soften. Inhale, expand once again. Feel it reaching to the toes, to the fingertips, to all the corners of your body. And soft vibration. Exhale. You can open the mouth, let it go. And then one more breath for good measure. Big breath in. Feel the fullness, feel the wholeness. Take a pause to embrace that fullness, to embrace that wholeness. Exhale as you let go, fully embracing your space. Shavasana. You're welcome to stay just as you are and take a longer Shavasana for yourself. If you're ready to move on, you will slowly wiggle the fingers, maybe rub the index finger and the thumb together, the middle finger, the ring finger, the pinky finger. Wiggle all fingers, wiggle all toes. Circle the wrist one way and then the other. Point and flex the feet. Arms extending up and overhead, so nice reach through the entirety of the body. Just kind of shake everything awake. And then exhale, gentle roll to the left side. Rest the left ear on that left bicep, making your way up. You can keep the eyes closed if you like. And finding your way, just a comfortable seat. And feel your connection to the earth. Feel your suppleness in your joints, the strength in your body, and the spaciousness in your mind. Bring the palms together to your heart space, bowing the chin to the chest. And taking a moment here of gratitude for yourself, for your practice, for your physical space, for your mind's space, and then what you're feeling internally, that expansion. Let that expand out into the world. And bringing the thumbs to your third eye. And with gratitude for your time and your energy, I thank you. Namaste.